Staying unbothered is not about pretending that hurtful words or actions never touch you. It's about choosing not to let them shape your identity or control the way you move through the world. When people come at you with negativity, criticism, or hate, the natural human reaction is to fight back, to defend yourself, to explain, to prove them wrong. But the truth is, nothing drives a hater crazier than silence and serenity. Your calm is louder than their noise. When you choose to remain unbothered, you take away the power they thought they had over you. You remind them without saying a single word that your sense of worth is not up for negotiation, and that is a kind of strength many people do not know how to handle. Being unbothered doesn't mean you never feel anger or disappointment. It means you feel it, acknowledge it, and then let it pass without building a home for it in your heart. Think of it like this: your peace is a treasure, and every time you allow someone's bitterness to live rent-free in your mind, you hand them the key to your inner sanctuary. Staying unbothered is the act of locking that door and keeping your peace intact. Haters thrive on your reactions. They want you rattled. They want you restless. They want you doubting yourself. But when you remain grounded, they are left with their own noise echoing back at them, and that silence burns more deeply than any comeback ever could. To stay unbothered is also an act of self-respect. It's telling yourself that not every opinion deserves a response, not every jab deserves a punch back, not every critic deserves your energy. Your life is too short and too precious to spend it handing out explanations to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you practice the art of being unbothered, you teach yourself that your joy is not dependent on the approval of others. You learn that confidence is not loud. It is steady, it is consistent. It is the ability to sit in a room full of doubters and still know exactly who you are. The beauty of staying unbothered is that it transforms your presence. People will notice that they cannot shake you. They will see that their words fall flat, that their attempts to provoke only dissolve into nothingness. And deep down, that unsettles them, because they realize you are not playing the same game they are. You are playing for peace, for growth, for freedom. And the truth is that kind of freedom looks like rebellion to those who thrive on conflict. To stay unbothered is to live with a quiet kind of rebellion, a rebellion that says, I will not give you what you want. I will not give you the satisfaction of controlling my spirit. Staying unbothered is not just about driving your haters crazy. It's about protecting yourself, honoring your worth, and choosing to rise above the noise. The gift is not that they lose. It's that you win by keeping your heart uncluttered, your mind clear, and your soul at peace. Keep growing, because nothing makes people who doubt you more uncomfortable than watching you rise higher and higher despite their expectations. Growth is not about proving them wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you are capable of more than the small box they tried to place you in. Every new step you take, every skill you learn, every challenge you face and overcome sends a silent message to those who hoped you would stay stuck. Your growth is the answer to every insult, every whisper, every attempt to limit you. When you keep growing, you make it clear that their words do not define you and that your story is still being written by your own hands. Growth is not always dramatic, and that's what makes it powerful. Sometimes it is quiet, subtle, like a seed breaking through the soil. You don't need to announce it, you don't need to defend it, you simply need to keep moving forward. The beauty is that the people who root against you are always watching. They notice the changes, the small shifts, the ways you carry yourself differently, even if they never admit it. They notice when your confidence grows, when your opportunities expand, when your energy no longer matches the place they left you in. And for someone who hoped you would remain at the same level, nothing is more frustrating than realizing you are already 3 steps ahead. To keep growing is also to embrace discomfort. Growth requires you to leave behind old habits, familiar places, and sometimes even people who cannot support the person you are becoming. It takes courage to stretch beyond the limits others have set for you, but every time you choose to push forward instead of staying still, you prove that your life belongs to you, not to their opinions. The people who hate on you secretly fear your growth because it shines a light on their own stagnation. When you rise, you force them to confront the reality that they too could change, but they choose not to. That's why your progress bothers them. It reflects the choices they are unwilling to make for themselves. Growth is not just about achievement, it is about becoming. It is about transforming into a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, kinder, and freer. And when you are dedicated to that process, no amount of hate can stop it. Your growth becomes the ultimate revenge, not because it destroys your haters, but because it makes their negativity irrelevant. They cannot keep up with someone who is constantly evolving, someone who refuses to settle, someone who understands that success is not about comparison, but about consistent improvement. So keep growing, even when no one is clapping for you, even when the progress feels invisible, even when the people around you don't understand, because growth is not for them, it is for you. It is for the life you are building, the dreams you are chasing, the peace you are protecting. And the more you grow, the less their opinions matter, until eventually their hate feels small and your life feels expansive. Your growth is your power, and nothing confuses your haters more than watching you rise without their permission. Choosing kindness over revenge is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make, not because it is easy, but because it requires strength. Most people don't understand. When someone hurts you, mocks you, or goes out of their way to tear you down, the natural instinct is to strike back. The temptation to show them the same pain they caused, you can feel overwhelming. But the truth is, revenge never brings peace. It only ties you to the same bitterness that lives inside them. Kindness, on the other hand, frees you. It sets you apart. It makes you untouchable. When you respond with grace instead of spite, you send a message that their hate cannot reach the core of who you are. That is the kind of reaction that drives people crazy, because they expect you to fight fire with fire, and when you don't, they are left burning alone. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is the ultimate form of power. Anyone can lash out. Anyone can scream back. Anyone can mirror negativity, but it takes true courage to remain grounded in compassion. When you choose kindness, you are not saying what they did was okay. You are saying it will not change the way you show up in the world. You refuse to let their darkness dim your light. You refuse to be dragged into the cycle of retaliation that keeps so many people trapped in endless conflict. You rise above it, not for them, but for yourself. That choice protects your peace and preserves your dignity. There is something deeply unsettling to a hater about being met with kindness. It confuses them. It exposes their cruelty for what it is. If you scream back, the world only sees two people fighting. But if you stay calm, respectful, and kind, everyone can clearly see where the hate is coming from, and it isn't you. By holding on to kindness, you shine a light that reveals their ugliness without you ever having to call it out. And over time, that light speaks louder than any insult could. Choosing kindness over revenge also allows you to keep growing without distractions. Revenge keeps you looking backward, reliving the pain, replaying the wound, stuck in the cycle of trying to get even. Kindness, however, keeps you moving forward. It keeps your energy focused on your goals, your healing, your joy. You are no longer wasting time plotting against those who wronged you because you have bigger, more important things to build. You are too busy living fully to care about tearing anyone else down. And that is what truly unsettles your haters. They see that their actions failed to stop you, failed to poison you, failed to pull you into their world of bitterness. Kindness is not about ignoring what was done to you. It's about refusing to let it define you. It's about choosing love, peace, and resilience over anger, chaos, and destruction. It's about showing the world that even in the face of hate, you still choose to be human, to be gentle, to be strong in a way that does not require cruelty. That kind of response leaves your haters powerless, because nothing is more maddening to someone filled with rage than realizing they cannot break your spirit. Protecting your energy is one of the most important acts of self-respect you can practice, because your energy is the force that fuels your thoughts, your actions, and the way you show up in the world. When you allow negativity, drama, or toxic people to constantly drain that energy, you lose the clarity and strength you need to move forward in your life. Protecting it is not selfish, it is necessary. It is about learning that not everyone deserves access to you, not every battle is worth fighting, and not every opinion is worth listening to. Your energy is like currency, and if you keep spending it on people who thrive on conflict or chaos, you will find yourself bankrupt in the areas of life that actually matter to you. Choosing carefully where your energy goes is the quiet power move that leaves those who want to see you distracted completely powerless. Haters feed off your reactions. They want you to engage, they want you to get angry, they want you to spend hours thinking about what they said or did. But when you protect your energy, you cut off their supply. You don't give them the attention they're craving, and you don't let their negativity rent space in your mind. Instead, you redirect that energy toward your growth, your goals, and the people who genuinely support you. That act of redirection is what drives them crazy, because they realize that no matter how hard they try, they cannot touch your spirit or shift your focus. You make it clear that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on their attempts to tear you down. Protecting your energy also means setting boundaries, and boundaries are often the most difficult thing to create when you care deeply. But boundaries are not walls to keep everyone out. They are doors that you control, deciding who comes in and how long they stay. Some people only show up to drain you, to unload their negativity, to criticize or judge. You have the right to close the door on that. The more you protect your energy from people like that, the more space you create for peace, creativity, and love to flow in your life. That shift not only benefits you, but it also makes those who tried to drag you down realize they no longer have a hold over you. There is a freedom that comes when you stop explaining, defending, and proving yourself to those who are determined not to see your worth. Protecting your energy means knowing that you don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to fight every fight. Sometimes silence is the loudest statement, and distance is the strongest defense. The more you practice this, the more untouchable you become. People who want to see you stressed or broken can't handle it when you remain calm, joyful, and focused despite their efforts. That's when your protected energy becomes not only your shield but also your quiet revenge, because nothing unsettles a hater more than realizing they have no power over you. Celebrate yourself loudly, because the world will always have voices that try to dim your light, and if you wait for permission to shine, you'll be waiting forever. Too often, people are taught to downplay their successes, to stay quiet about their progress, to act small so that others won't feel uncomfortable. But the truth is, when you celebrate yourself boldly and unapologetically, you send a powerful message that you are proud of who you are becoming and unafraid of being seen. Nothing unsettles a hater more than watching you clap for yourself when they expected you to shrink. They want you second-guessing, doubting, apologizing for your own joy, but instead you laugh louder, smile brighter, and own every step of the journey you've earned. Celebrating yourself loudly doesn't mean arrogance, it means gratitude. It means acknowledging how far you've come and allowing yourself to feel the fullness of that victory. Think about how many times you've walked through pain, endured rejection, faced criticism, and still managed to stand tall. That deserves celebration. Haters expect you to crumble under pressure, to hide your achievements out of fear of judgment. But when you celebrate yourself anyway, you show them that their opinions do not dictate your happiness. You teach yourself that your milestones, no matter how big or small, deserve recognition. And when you honor yourself openly, you also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of courage and confidence. There will always be people who roll their eyes when you succeed, who try to downplay your accomplishments, who mutter that you're doing too much. But that says more about them than it does about you. People who are secure in themselves don't feel threatened by your joy. It's only the insecure who become restless when you shine. And that is exactly why celebrating yourself loudly is so powerful. It separates those who truly support you from those who only want you to stay small. When you choose to keep shining, keep smiling, and keep being proud of yourself, you leave them to wrestle with their own discomfort while you continue to rise. Your life is meant to be lived fully, and part of that fullness is joy that is unapologetic. It's laughing without fear of being too much. It's sharing your wins without minimizing them. It's standing in the mirror and actually loving the person staring back. You don't need anyone else's approval to celebrate yourself. You don't need the world to clap for you before you decide you're worthy of applause. You can clap for yourself, and that sound is enough to silence the noise around you. When you live in that kind of confidence, your haters lose their grip, because there is nothing more frustrating to someone who wanted to break you than seeing you thrive out loud. So celebrate yourself loudly, not just for the world to hear, but for your own soul to believe. Because your joy, your laughter, your self-love are not just victories. They are your greatest resistance against the voices that once told you to stay small. Turning pain into purpose is one of the most powerful transformations you can experience, because it takes something that was meant to break you and turns it into the very reason you rise. Pain is a universal experience. No one goes through life untouched by loss, rejection, betrayal, or disappointment. The difference lies in what you choose to do with it. You can allow pain to make you bitter, to shrink you, to convince you that you are powerless. Or you can choose to let it sharpen you, teach you, and propel you forward into something greater than what you imagined. When you turn pain into purpose, you reclaim control over your story and send a message to everyone who wanted to see you defeated that you are unstoppable. Pain often feels like a weight pressing down, suffocating, stealing your joy, and making you question your worth. But hidden inside pain is wisdom, and hidden inside struggle is strength. The moments that hurt the most are often the ones that reveal what matters most to you. If you've ever had your heart broken, you know that it awakens a deeper understanding of love. If you've ever been betrayed, you know it heightens your sense of loyalty and truth. If you've ever been dismissed, you know it ignites a fire to prove your value. These lessons are not easy, but they become the foundation for a life built on resilience. And nothing unsettles those who hoped you'd stay broken more than watching you rise stronger and more purposeful from the very pain they thought would destroy you. Turning pain into purpose doesn't mean denying your hurt. It doesn't mean pretending that what happened didn't cut deeply. It means choosing to heal in a way that allows your story to become a source of light instead of a source of bitterness. It means finding a way to use your experiences to connect with others, to inspire them, to show them they are not alone. Purpose grows when you decide that your suffering will not be wasted. You turn the darkness into a spark that lights the way forward, not just for yourself, but for those who are watching you fight through. Every time you take pain and channel it into growth, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that pain may shape you, but it does not get to define you. You get to define yourself by how you rise, by what you build, by who you become. Purpose often grows out of the very places that once felt unbearable. Some of the most resilient, compassionate, and powerful people you'll ever meet are the ones who have learned how to transform their pain into a driving force. That transformation confuses haters because they expect your wounds to silence you, not empower you. They expect your scars to hold you back, not move you forward. When you turn pain into purpose, you turn every trial into a testament. You show that your story is not one of defeat, but one of victory. And in that victory, you not only rise above your haters, you rise above your own fears, doubts, and limitations. You become living proof that pain can be the birthplace of power.